Welcome everybody for the press conference. DTM round 6 at the Nürburgring. We have the 11th race of the season, and we have our 3 winning drivers here on the podium. First place goes to Matteo Cairoli, Emil Frey Racing Ferrari, for the 3rd time this season. Matteo claimed P1. Then in P2 we have Thomas Preining for Manthey Porsche, and on P3 Marco Wittmann for Schubert Motorsport BMW. First of all, I guess this is worth a big round of applause here from the floor. Matteo, what a victory here at Nürburgring. There was a demonstration run today, wasn't it?
Well, maybe yes, but for sure it was a very needed win, because the last 2 events we went through some frustration and some struggle where the performance for any reason were not coming, despite I was still giving my heart. Finally I think we found now the right compromise for me with the car, and this was basically the reason why we get back to be competitive. So it was an amazing race. The car was simply flying, I have to say. And yeah, I have to say big thanks to the team, because it's pretty clear without their help I wouldn't be here today. So pleasure to drive and pleasure to win at the Nürburgring again.
How difficult was it in the race? Everything looked very controlled, and you built a gap of 10 seconds to Thomas. So it seems there was no pressure on you.
But the pressure is somehow always there. I try to deal with it in the best way. Of course, having Thomas next to me and Marco and all the others, it's I want to try to get some gap and some space, and this is actually what happened. And as soon as I see that I was pulling some gap, then I started to not control it, but to feel a bit more relaxed with myself, and that was also a key for today's win.
What were the other keys to winning that race and for that so far very strong performance here?
But for sure, we discovered since free practice, and we are having a very warm DTM season. So the key is not to, for me, at least talking about the Ferrari and myself, not to over push. And this is basically what I did. I was trying always to get to the limit of the car, but without over forcing it. And in the end it worked perfectly, because I had also during Zandvoort race, when we won the first time, I was probably forcing a bit too much the car, and then sometimes I was losing it. I said I don't want that this happen again. Therefore, I decided to really give my very best, but without overshooting or over forcing the car.
So you said it was a much needed win in terms of the championship. Last 2 weekends, Oschersleben, Nürburgring were not quite going so well, but at Lausitzring, where you were, or also at Zandvoort, you had a very strong performance with pole position, with very controlled races. So what is the reason that you are either at the front or not in the mix?
I would like to answer to this question, but I simply cannot. I'm also asking myself why in Nürburgring and in Oschersleben we were a bit lost, I would say. For sure, I think, I was not driving the car in my comfort zone. I'm pretty honest with that. Therefore, I was expecting something that in the end it was not happening. And we fought a bit with each other rather than helping with each other with the car. We were actually fighting. So now looks like that we found our comfort zone, and I'm very pleased for that.
Thank you, Matteo. Then we move to Thomas. Thomas, a great weekend at Oschersleben with a win and finally P2 for the moment. Now another P2 second consecutive podium. How was your race today behind Matteo?
Very good race. Generally, we've had a good weekend so far. I think the track is very different than at the test a few weeks ago, so we had to make some adaptations yesterday. I think we were very quick to find back the rhythm after the difficult FP1, so luckily we made the right steps and we keep making the right decisions, I think, on car setup at the moment. So we had a good qualifying today where we maximized absolutely, and then in the race in the end, luckily I managed to keep my position at the start, which I was not 100% sure will be possible, and then from then on I always was trying to follow Matteo, but obviously he was too fast. He did really well, and team did a really good job on the pit stops. We were really fast. Also strategy played out nicely with the cars we had to cover. So all in all, a very good day at the office, and obviously a really good point swing again. We're still on the way back into the fight, but we're step by step trying to come closer.
So you said the track was different than at the test. So can you describe a little more what is different? Because it has been hot here for 2 months. So what is then the difference?
It's not like it was cold in the test. So it's really strange in terms of temperature. It's somewhat similar in terms of lap time even. It's more or less the same. It's just a completely upside down car balance, which at the end of the day is the same for everybody, I guess. I saw on the replays of FP more people are struggling. In the end, it was about adapting quickly, making the right calls on which steps you need on the setup, and I think we did well. I think they also did well, otherwise they would not be here, and I think this was crucial this weekend so far.
How is the weekend in general for you? There are a lot of Manthey employees here, obviously. Is this a more stressful weekend because there is obviously a very high demand on you?
No, I really enjoy it. Honestly, over the years, I like to believe I've become a small part of that family myself, I think, at Manthey, and it also feels like a bit of a home race for me. Obviously, the highlight at Nürburgring is the 24-hour race, but this one comes really close in terms of attention that we get and the love from the fans. We really appreciate that. It's a big privilege, and it's something I really enjoy. Luckily, it's not only at Nürburgring. We have fans following us everywhere, but here, obviously, it's definitely the most.
When we talked earlier this week, we spoke about championship, and if you're already back in the ballpark, you already said a little bit earlier, but do you think you're now, after this P2, in the mix again, or?
I think in terms of championship position, yes. In terms of points, no. We are 17 points or 18 or something like this, which, of course, in theory, you could catch in one race, but realistically, it's not going to happen, so we still have a long way to go. Also, I think it's foolish to think it's every race going to be like this, that we finish ahead and we just keep catching and catching. So in the end, we need to continue the work. We need to continue the upwards trend also and try to stay consistently towards the front. Then everything is possible. But generally, I think it's a bit early to say we are fully in the fight. We are aiming to be. We are on the way there. But we still have a quite big gap to close.
Thank you, Thomas. Marco, another podium this season, another strong race. So you were quite one of the winners of the start of the opening lap. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, for us, it's been a good weekend. Started already well in FP sessions, continued in qualifying, and also in the race to be now on the podium. I think we can be happy with that. Obviously, the two next to me, they were a bit too fast for us today, so we mainly had to defend. We had a good battle with Ben around the pit stop and especially on the outlap on cold tires, where we basically moved up from P4 to the P3, and then mainly had to look in my mirrors. But all in all, I'm very happy to be back in a position to fight for good points for a podium. It's been difficult weeks for us in DTM, so it's nice to be, back competitive and trying to fight for strong points.
So how hard or how stressful was the race? So it's obviously not very sunny today, but still hot conditions. So you had some issues at Oschersleben. How was it today for you?
All good. I mean, I recovered after Oschersleben. Luckily, everything went in the right direction, and then, usually if you have the US trip in between, you always gain weight again with all the food in America. So I basically gained the 5 kilos I lost around Oschersleben and back in shape. So all good. And despite all the heat, you know, the race was still okay, still manageable. I mean, I was not in a big fight. As said, I had to look a bit in my mirrors for Ben. But it was not like a demanding race for me. It was mainly keeping the focus high, don't do any mistakes. And from there we could bring it home in P3.
One question, we made beautiful green machine Pirelli caps and you're not wearing it today, so.
I did before, but obviously now here we swapped the caps, so, but definitely love the color green, so we could always go for the green caps.
Okay, another chance to grab one tomorrow. So do we have here questions from the floor?
Yeah, congrats to you guys. Question to all three of you. There has been a lot of fog in the air here, and I think it was getting more and more during the race. Was that in your mind at some point? And how was it with the fresh air in the cockpit? Was that an issue in any way? Matteo, maybe you can start.
In the end, of course, it's not good what's happening. Us in the team, obviously, we have a lot of people living close by, so we hope everything is going well and everybody's families and houses are safe. Generally, while driving, you're pretty focused, I have to say. I saw it a few times, but the focus is there. I don't have any dizziness or anything in the car, so I cannot complain about anything like this, but yeah, of course we are aware of the situation.
I would say copy and paste and what Thomas just said. To be honest, yeah, it's really bad to see what's going on, especially also close to my area in Italy, in Como. We have the same issue, so yeah, unfortunately we need to try to be as safe as possible. But yeah, I mean, when you are flat out during a race, to be honest, the focus is somewhere else.
Same.
Another question, Sven?
Yeah, one to Matteo. Of course, you had a big gap in the championship fight, especially after the last 2 weekends. Now, of course, the victory, I think, was very important. Is the title fight, is it on your mind? Do you think you can still have a chance to get in there?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, yeah, realistically, it's going to be tough. The last 2 events were quite hard for us. We also had the DNF on top of that, so 0 point. Yeah, honestly, I'm not thinking too much at the championship. You know, I'm just want to concentrate myself race by race, and then eventually we see at the end. But yeah, Maro has quite a big gap now. It's going to be tough to catch him, but for sure, I mean, until when we have a mathematical chance to be there, you know, I will never ever give up.
Any more questions here from the floor? No, thank you. Then thank you to all three of you and have a wonderful afternoon. See you tomorrow.